Welcome! In this video, I'm going to show you how Excel handles the order of calculations. Excel doesn't work through a formula strictly from left to right, performing each operator as it goes. It works through the operations in BODMAS order. And if a formula isn't written with that in mind, you can get a result that looks plausible but is wrong. BODMAS stands for brackets, orders, which contains the powers and roots, division, multiplication, addition and subtraction. You may have seen it written as BODMAS. That's the same rule, just using the word indices instead of orders. With BODMAS in calculations, the first thing to look for is brackets and perform the calculation in the brackets. Then go back to the start of the formula and look to see if there is anything that falls under orders. And if there are, for example, any powers or roots, we do those next. Then we carry out any division, then multiplication, then addition, then subtraction. Let's look at a few examples. Say I want to calculate the total money in from orders placed for each product. So here for product A, the item had a price of 50. The customer was charged a delivery fee of 5, which takes the total cost to 55. 3 orders were made, so the money received from those orders is 55 times 3, which is 165. If I just write equals C2 plus D2 multiplied by E2, then I get 65. This is because when Excel applies BODMAS, it does the multiplication first, so multiplies D2 by E2, then adds C2, which gives the wrong total. The fix is to add brackets to force Excel to do the addition first, as the brackets changes the order of evaluation. So if I do equals, open bracket, C2 plus D2 and close my brackets, then multiply that by E2, the total is 165, which is the figure I expect to see. In this next example, I want to work out the commission based on 10% of the total sales. If I divide this up into stages and columns, then it's quite easy to follow the formula. Here I am summing B2 and C2 to get the total sold. I take that value and multiply it by the price of each item to get the total income from sales. Then from that resulting figure, I take 10% to get my commission earned figure. Laying it out this way, I can see that there are 3 steps in the calculation. However, if I was looking to do a shortcut and calculate the commission earned in one formula, then BODMAS needs consideration. I'll write the formula one way first to show an issue which may arise. Then I'll show you the formula written in a slightly different way, which I would suggest is preferable. I'll start with equals B8 plus C8 multiplied by D8 multiplied by E8. Because multiplication comes before addition, Excel goes to the first multiplication it finds, going from left to right. It takes the number immediately before the multiplication sign and then multiplies it with the figure immediately after it. Then it continues to look across the formula to see if there are more multiplications. It finds the next multiplication sign and again takes the figure before that, which is now 150, multiplies it by the figure after the sign being the 10%. So we now have 15. Then it goes back to the start of the row and looks for any additions. It finds the addition sign and adds the two figures together. So it adds the 20 and the 15 together to get 35, which is not what we are expecting to see. We are expecting to see 25. To fix this, I can again force the addition to happen first by adding the brackets so that the addition is done before the multiplication. Now the correct figure of 25 is showing. Note, however, that in this scenario, I would not typically use B8 plus C8. I would use sum. So I would say sum B8 colon C8 to sum the range, which makes the formula more robust. Here, Excel will find the multiplication sign, look to see what figure is on its left. It finds a formula, so it has to do that before it can carry out the multiplication. In this next example, brackets aren't strictly required, but they are still worth using. Brackets aren't just for forcing the order of calculation, they also make your formulas easier to read and harder to misinterpret. Say I wanted to apply a 20% discount to a price in B2. To get the discounted price, I write equals B2, the price, minus, then I need to calculate the discount, which is the price in B2 multiplied by the discount in C2. And I get the correct answer, which is 16. Because multiplication comes before subtraction, Excel calculates B2 multiplied by C2 first. Then it subtracts it from B2, which happens to be correct, so the brackets aren't strictly required. But if you later came back to your formula or someone else looked at it, it may not be immediately obvious what the formula is doing. Writing it as equals B2 minus open bracket B2 times C2 close bracket makes the intention clear, even although the result is the same. A good habit to get into is to ask yourself when writing a formula, in what order do I actually want these calculations to happen? If there's any doubt, add brackets. If you found this video helpful, the full series on basic math operations in Excel is linked below, covering addition, subtraction, multiplication and division, including some common errors to watch out for in each. If you found this video helpful, please give it a like, have a look at the other Excel videos on the channel and subscribe for more Excel tutorials. Thanks for watching.